Hi everyone, my name is Junkie and today we're back on the mouse pointer little series we've got going. So in the last video we didn't actually do any visible coding even. It looks identical to the first episode, but what we did was we added a whole step event that coded things up so that we can now add in our draw event. The draw event itself is very short. And I think once we've done that we will have finished. I might even, depending on the time, go quickly into shooting things, possibly just explain it rather than just show you. But for the most part we're going to be finished soon on this, at which point I might just move on to another little filler thing, and then obviously eventually go back to the RTS. So we're going to be just a normal draw event here. Let's get rid of this again, I don't like that. We're going to need a variable, so we're going to call it var multiplier. Now what this is it's going to be our distance divided by any number. I believe I chose 100 for the other thing, but effectively remember our distance is the point between our mouse and our player. Now what this does is it sets a value so that when we draw the sprite it times the sprite by that value, so our arrow will get bigger the further away it is. Anyway, now the last thing we're going to do, it's only 2 lines of code actually. This one's quite a long one. It's draw sprite ext, or extended. We're going to draw sprite arrow sub image even 0. The x is arrow underscore x and arrow underscore y, which we calculated earlier. The x scale is going to be multiplier, and multiplier for the y. Rotation is not here, so we're going to have to do that. So point direction I've done there, minus 90 for whatever reason. We will see on that. So actually let's make this a little bit nicer. Do rot for rotation equals point direction mouse x mouse y arrow x arrow y. So object player dot x and object player dot y. I'm just theoretically thinking that the player will be in the dead center this way. We don't want to start even. So yeah, it'll be in the center rather than our arrow x and arrow y, which is slightly off center depending on which way our mouse is. So if we do that, if we do rot color, I think we did see, can never remember the colors, see white. Can never remember if it's white or black if you just want it default. Anyway, alpha 1, and of course we're going to put a little semicolon on the end, not necessary but it's a good habit. And yeah, if we give this a run now, we'll have to see, because the rotation might be terribly wrong, which it is. Again, I'm not entirely sure why it does this, but I think we have to do minus 90. Let's give this a go. And yeah, that's kind of in reverse. The arrow is pointing towards us, but you can see it's getting bigger and smaller the closer one you get. I personally think that the thing is slightly off, so yeah. Sorry. The trick when you're making the arrow or whatever it is you're doing, I just did this quite quickly because this needs to be right up there, if that makes sense. So if I show you here, now the point needs to be exactly on the top center origin, so that when we go like this, you see, it looks a little bit nicer. Even then, I think that the radius might be a little big there. So let's go and play around with that. Get the controller. Okay, so yeah, we've got radius equals 40. Let's change it to like 30. Because you want to have it at a sweet spot, so you want to have it so that it doesn't touch these corners, which it isn't. Nope, it never touches the corners, but it's still relatively close. So I think that's alright for the moment. I think we can probably just flip the whole thing around by plus 90. So this will do a 180 flip and should have the arrow not doing that. Let's go back to minus 90 and then let's set this to top bottom, not top but bottom center even. Give that a go. Well, that is exciting. Yeah, let's keep it with top center, I think, and just have the arrow going the other way. I'm not quite sure why. That is kind of confusing. If I just run this. Yeah, if I just run this version, which is made in 1.4, but obviously that shouldn't really affect anything. It has got the arrow coming out. Unless, yes, okay. See, on that one I've chosen like this point here on that version. Let's see if that works any better. Yeah, that kind of glitches out a little bit. I know what we need to do. Then once we've done that, we need to get rid of this. We then need to add 90 instead of minus 90, so that'll flip the rotation. And that should then make it point outwards. Yep, there we go. So that's pretty much it, I believe. We've got the cursor working, so in fact I might lead on to this, because what you can do in GameMaker, which is quite awesome, and not many people realise, is you can have custom cursors like this over the mouse, and that's something that I don't see very often, but I think is quite cool when I do see it, so I'm going to probably go into that at some point. Probably in the next video or something. But yeah, that's leading on from this. So at the moment we've got this nice big arrow. It does get quite large if you get further away, which you could tweak. You could say as it gets to a maximum size, so maybe it gets to that size and then stops or something. That's entirely up to you. And of course you can change the arrow to be whatever you want. I would not leave it as an arrow. An arrow does look kind of disgusting, but for example in Hyperlight Drifter you've got that nice little, I don't know what it's called, nice little shape that points in the right direction, and that helps the game and is pretty much the foundation of that game. So yeah, you can really build onto it and do almost whatever you want with it. But yeah, this is just leading into that. Been what, 3 episodes, and then the next episode we'll just go into some mouse operations and things you can do with that. So if you enjoyed this video, remember to like, subscribe, whatever you guys want to do, and I'll talk to you in the next one.